Hello, I'm Eric with the Noble Company. Today I'm going to give you an unofficial overview of the new ProBase from the Noble Company. It is a pre-sloped, pre-waterproof shower base. Comes in two different sizes, a 48 by 48 and a 60 by 32. Both pipes are sloped to a center drain location at a rate of 1/4 inch per foot. Within the kit comes basically everything you would need to install the product. You have a tube of Noble Sealant 150, 4 inside corners, 4 outside corners, and a roll of Noble Seal TS membrane used for flashing up the side walls. As I mentioned, the product is very easy to cut. The piece here I've already cut down to size, doing my measurements from my center drain location out to the perimeter walls. To cut the product, you simply would score it like you would a piece of cement backer board, firm pressure through the membrane, snap it, and then from the underside, basically, it removes very easily. After making the necessary cuts to fit the base, dry fit it into the alcove to make sure that it fits properly prior to installing the latex modified thin set that's used under the base to glue it to the floor or bond it to the floor. Perfect fit. Okay, I've got my latex modified thin set in here using the proper size trowel. Make sure you get it all the way around the perimeter real good up to the drain. And again, it's been pre-cut to size. Embed it in here. And basically go ahead and embed it into your thin set real well. If you notice, I did leave the bolt heads in the drain, as I mentioned earlier. The reason for that is I now can come in here and using the palm of my hand, push down on each one of the 4 bolt heads. And I don't know how well this will show up on the camera, but you can see the 4 heads possibly. So now when I make my cuts for the clamping ring, I can pop the bolt heads very easily right through the membrane. This minimizes any hole that might be in there where you're getting a little wild trying to cut around it. So that makes a real easy connection right there. What I like to do is I try to line up the holes into the keys here, pushing down firmly on the drain. You can actually get a slight template of where I need to cut this membrane out for this basically to fit in here nice and tight. Okay, the bolt head has now been popped through. I'm going to go back here and get the Noble Sealant 150 underneath this membrane all the way around. Just kind of work your gun right on around. And what this is going to do is bond or seal the membrane down to that lower drain body, that in the event that you get any water backing up, that the drain's plugged or whatnot, this basically will help seal the membrane down to that drain body to avoid the water being able to escape underneath the membrane. Now basically putting the clamping ring on, I got the hole cut out, line her up, give it the twist, and I now tighten the bolt heads down. Basically I'm running from a 1, 2, 3, 4 cross pattern for tightening my heads down. This is going to tighten that down good and tight to the membrane. It's going to give it that compression seal. This would now basically be ready to do to get my strainer in place for the drain itself. Of course, the strainer is available in a lot of different finishes. The Noble Company offers them in square and round in most finishes. The purpose for the indentation here in the membrane is exactly that. Is after I get this membrane flashed all around, my tile elevation is going to be directly to this membrane. This little drop down or hub allows this drain to depress to the proper elevation for my tile to line up with it. Most drains are going to bottom out at about 3/4 inch. This particular depression is over an inch, so my drain has more than enough adjustability for my tiles to line up in here properly. This little area later will be filled with mud or mortar, generally a 4-to-1 sand to cement mix. Okay, I've now got the base bonded down to the substrate. The drain is in place. The membrane has been bonded to the lower drain body using the Noble Sealant 150 to ensure a good tight seal there. The next step would be to install the Noble Seal TS membrane. The Noble Seal TS membrane is a 30 mil chlorinated polyethylene sheet. It is going to be bonded around the sidewalls to the base. The kit itself is containing this. It's a 17-foot long piece of membrane. 17 foot is more than enough to wrap around a standard 4x4 or 48-inch shower. with a 2-inch basically flange here being bonded down to the base, that's going to give me a 12-inch upturn. I'm going to simply counter flash this around using either a latex modified thin set to bond it to the side walls, or you could use the Noble Bond EXT. Okay, I've got the Noble Seal TS now dry fitted into place. From this point, you would bond it to the substrate or bond it to the wall itself using a latex modified thin set or the Noble Bond EXT adhesive. I've used the Noble Sealant 150 to basically catch this 2-inch flashing piece to glue it to the base or bond it to the base. I've cut my jam down to the curb bite. In this particular case, I'm using one of the Noble Company curves over the top of the base. The membrane is wrapped over the top of it. Using the outside corners underneath the shower TS, the Noble Seal TS, this is basically catching that jam to the required 3-inch height that's required by the plumbing hood. I would duplicate this process on the other side, bond the Noble Seal TS up over the top of the curb, again using a latex modified thin set or the EXT. Now that your corners have been installed, you're really complete. The shower itself is now ready to have the tile bonded directly to the membrane, directly to the wall using a latex modified thin set. Again, this was a simple overview of the Noble base. You have to read the complete instructions. We thank you for the opportunity to show this to you.